toilet facilities are essential in worker housing. Unless a family, men's and women's facilities must be separate and clearly marked. Partitions between toilets are not required, but many growers construct them with partitions anyways. Toilets should be available within 200 feet of the worker's housing. If an outhouse or privy is used, it should be at least 100 feet from the housing. Be sure your workers understand that they need to dispose of used toilet paper in the toilet, not in a trash can. It is the custom throughout Latin America to use the trash can for disposal, not the toilet, because of undersized plumbing. Be sure they understand that this is not the case here. An adequate supply of hot and cold running water must be provided for bathing and laundry purposes. Adequate hot water is at least 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Shower rooms must be equipped to maintain a 70-degree temperature during cold weather. Floors and walls must be smooth and impervious, and floors must contain drains. Facilities for drying clothes, either a clothesline or a clothes dryer, must be provided. Buckets are not acceptable for washing clothes.
Originally we were working 6 workers and we went to 9, and so we need more room and more floor space. And then we worked late and they only had 1 shower, so we put in another shower and a washing machine and did all that to kind of make things go a little smoother and let the boys kind of feel comfortable and hopefully enjoy being here and working.
Here we have the washers and the dryers so that they can, and they love that. The guys love it because the old facility is the last one that we don't have, but we're going to put that in this year for those guys that are there.
And we've had a washing machine added, and that's made it a lot easier on the guys. They can come in at the end of every day and wash their clothes and not have to go to town to a laundromat or anything.
A kitchen facility should be provided for your workers with a stove that has at least 1 burner per 5 persons, and in no event less than 2 burners. There should be enough refrigerator space provided for all of the workers' food. The refrigerator should register 45 degrees Fahrenheit or below. The kitchen should have a sink with hot and cold running water. There should be proper storage areas for food and utensils. Kitchen surfaces should be accessible for cleaning. GFCI outlets should be used near sources of water, such as by the sink.
I got to thinking, how, if the 2 of us had a refrigerator full, how in the world could we expect 10 workers to have food in 1 refrigerator? So we began to think that, you know, that wasn't adequate, and we began to upgrade. So we began to put 1 refrigerator for each room, just for the 5 guys, and 1 cooking unit and cabinet space and utensils and all that for each room. That's one of the ways that we began to look at the standards and upgrade and make it more accommodating for the workers.
The one thing that we really didn't give a lot of thought to was the kitchen area. Other than the fact that we knew we wanted a good area for them to prepare their food, as far as a good stainless steel area and a sink to clean and so forth, and something that was in particular that would be against a concrete wall, so we didn't have to worry about rot if there were splashing and so forth. But then after they were in here a year or 2, I began to be concerned about the cooking area itself, where they were preparing their food. You know, you could just see that the hood that we had there, which was just sort of a typical what you would find in your home, was not removing the grease and so forth that was being accumulated from when they were preparing their food. And it just began to weigh on my mind that this was a real fire hazard and a potential hazard to the workers that I valued highly. What we chose to do was just put in a sort of a typical commercial hood system like you would find in a restaurant almost. It took away a lot of my concern about that, as far as it has the ability obviously to remove the exhaust from their cooking and it has the sprinkler system, the chemical suppression and all that.
Garbage cans with covers are required at all worker housing. Dumpsters are acceptable only when workers are provided with and use sealable plastic bags to deposit in the dumpster. Proper garbage disposal and handling helps prevent infestation of rodents and other vermin. You will need to have a fully stocked first aid kit available in the worker housing. Check your first aid kits regularly and replace supplies that have expired. There also needs to be someone trained to administer first aid. If you're not trained in first aid and CPR, you will need to have emergency aid available within 10 minutes of the work site. That could be EMS from a hospital or clinic. Have an emergency response plan and make sure that your workers are aware of what to do and who to call during a medical emergency. A cell phone should be provided if they're working in the field and you're not going to be with them. In an emergency, prevention is the first and best line of defense. If you know of any instances of communicable diseases, food poisoning, fever, diarrhea, sore throat, vomiting, or jaundice, that needs to be reported to the local health authorities. Inspectors will check electrical outlets in the housing and make sure that ground fault circuit interrupters are in place where needed. They will look for misuse of electrical cords and overloaded electrical outlets. Misused, homemade, or jerry-rigged wiring and receptacle boxes are not allowed. If a refrigerator has a ground pin that has been cut off, that will need to be corrected. Appliances should be used as they were intended to be, following the safety instructions included with them at purchase. For example, kitchen appliances or washing machines are not for use outdoors.
The only thing different I would have done is maybe ran antenna wire to some of these, to the shelving areas for them to hook up TVs and stuff like that, because they may get the urge to run wiring across the walls and in unsafe areas, or through my screens too.
Inspectors will check for smoke detectors and fire extinguishers. There have been several fatalities in farm worker housing in recent years due to fires. Make sure that all housing has smoke detectors with batteries that are operational. It's a requirement. Fire extinguishers are required in sleeping and cooking areas. Extinguishers are divided into 4 categories based on different types of fires. Each fire extinguisher also has a numerical rating that serves as a guide for the amount of fire that extinguisher can handle. The higher the number, the more firefighting power. The following is a quick guide to help you choose the right type of extinguisher. Class A extinguishers are for ordinary combustible materials such as paper, wood, cardboard, and most plastics. Class B fires involve flammable or combustible liquids such as gasoline or grease. Class C fires involve electrical equipment. Class D fire extinguishers are commonly found in a chemical laboratory. It is very important to know what type of extinguisher you're using. Using the wrong type of extinguisher for the wrong type of fire can be life-threatening. Sleeping areas require at least a Class 2A extinguisher. Cooking areas, a 5BC. We
have fire extinguishers, plenty of capacity over here if there happened to be a fire in this area. And you know, we expect a lot from our workers, as do almost anyone else who's utilizing seasonal labor. And we have very little turnover, so hopefully that indicates that they appreciate what we're doing for them.
This video has reviewed some of the particular requirements of the Migrant Housing Act, showing ways some growers in North Carolina have met those regulations. It is not a substitute for reviewing the entire set of housing regulations. Please refer to this website for more complete information.
Normally at least once a week I'll do a walkthrough, and I spend a little time when they come to get the payroll and that kind of thing took care of. Those boys are they're not just farm laborers, they're my friends. They've been here a long time.
I just want it to be nice for them. I won't treat them good, so they'll treat me good. That's just the way it is.
Which is better, to spend money on a fine because you haven't done something, or to spend the money on prevention and have the workers benefit, because the workers benefit from that. So if I do things wrong and don't do something and I get a fine, I don't benefit, the workers, and no one benefits from that.